All right, welcome back to the seventh episode of Creatives Cafe. This is the cafe news section where inter- the intersection of creativity and politics collide. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I just want to give a shout out to the awesome artists that are out there uh, actually doing the work of being the revolutionists of today. You know, back in the day, there was um, people like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez and all the cool ones. Today we have out front Robert De Niro. He is the man. He's the spokesman for the No Kings. That's what I would say. And then there's, of course, Joan Baez, Jesse Wells, even Bette Midler. As a matter of fact, Google Bette. Google Bette Midler. She did a retake, a remake of the Woody Guthrie song. And with permission, she was able to change some of the lyrics in there, but she kept the idea. It's called All You Fascists Bound to Lose. And I believe the Guthrie song was Bound to Lose. But you can Google her on YouTube and just type in Bette Midler's song by Woody Guthrie, and you'll get that. So, with that, I wanted to do an update on what my experience was during the No Kings protest. But that's what's on the menu today. And with that, let's get cooking. Yeah, guys, we're out here fighting for democracy. No Kings protest was pretty awesome. I did have a great time networking and connecting with folks. We talked about everything. We talked about the Iranian war. We talked about healthcare, um, of course, gas prices, you know, the shutdown, the DHS funding bill. Everybody was out there talking about pretty much everything that has happened since the last two No Kings marches. What's happened between so the first one was June 14th, the second one was in October, and I think it was October 25th, somewhere around there. And then, of course, the one we had this past weekend, which I did attend. And I'm happy I did go out there and I took a few pictures. I'm going to share those with you. But actually, what's happening right now is our rights, the Constitution, it's all being shredded. There is no organization in the White House. We have a corrupt president, we have a corrupt Congress, and we have a corrupt Supreme Court. And those also were the conversations that went on out there. Here are a few shots that I did take. Um, when I went up to these two folks, these two ladies, it was amazing. Um, anyway, we when I saw the sign "Help Save Me," um, I didn't know if maybe it was about the planet or about the people on the planet, but I guess it could also have been about both. And basically, that's what I came up with, and that's what we kind of talked about. Um, but their main issue was that even though this was a no king's day, uh, everybody was calling Trump out as a dictator, which is, I think, his goal is a wannabe dictator. I met some really fine people out there, and these are a few of the shots that I took. A lot of shots, although a lot of them were sporadic because I was mostly into the conversations and the networking that we had going on out there. The feeling of camaraderie was absolutely phenomenal. It was just the peaceful gathering all up and down my area from Riverdale all the way up to College Park. The streets were lined, and then there was a band. There was um, on both sides of Route One. The signs were just fabulous, and this one, the Pants on Fire. When I first saw it, I said, "King Pants on Fire," and then it hit me, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." So yeah, King Liar, not Lear, Liar. And the last photograph that I wanted to show you guys is this gentleman, and we talked for quite a minute. Um, I enjoyed his conversation, and basically, he gave me a card, and I'm just gonna wave it up there real quick. There is um, a website like the nokings.org website as a resource that you can go to when there's more campaigns and organizations that um, are putting together different campaigns like boycotting this company or that company. Oh yeah, there was definitely conversation about DEI and the First Amendment and all that other stuff, but the card is all about indivisible, indivisible.org, and of course mine was, and let me take you there. Mine was actually, let me go to that screen real quick. There it is. So mine is Indivisible Route 1 corridor, and it takes me directly to where I need to go to find out any information or resource where I've joined up, where you can take action, where you can donate, do anything you can to support what's going on. Um, and the main issue that is out there is the 2026 election, midterm elections. We need to do it up and down the ballot, to vote for democracy. That's important, right? But if you don't know, now you do. Indivisible.org, that's all you have to put into the uh, URL, into your search engine. Pop that up, put your email in, put your zip code in, sign up, find out, where your local chapter is, and become a part of the revolution for democracy. Just so you know, real quick, I wanted to uh, throw this piece out there because there's a lot happening with the fact that the defunding or the bill to get the other areas of DHS funded are being held back because of ICE, the section of ICE, that all we want is reformation. We want reform. We're not asking for much. And the Republicans still won't. Now they're on a 2-week vacation. All Mike Johnson has to do is call Congress back into session and let's get this done. So we can fund TSA, we can fund CISA, we can fund the Coast Guard, we can fund FEMA, and we can talk about the funding for ICE. ICE is getting paid. I said it last time. They got it. They got their money in the big bill that was recently funded under the continuing resolution. So they're getting paid. So now they sent up they said no, we want this all the way up until May. So they threw that in, and that wasn't real. That wasn't a real thing. It came, this thing went to the Senate. It was bipartisan. It was, then it went back to the House, and of course, Mike Johnson and the Republicans in the House rejected it. Then another, break in the session, and all the folks went home. Democrats are saying over and over again, hey, if you call us back and we put it on the table, let's fix this. Let's do this now. And all of this spewing about, Trump saying he's going to go ahead and find the money to pay TSA. Look, TSA was expecting a check on Friday. They were expecting things to go well so that they could get paid. Thousands of TSA employees have left the building. You cannot pay for food and your basic necessities on air. Like, air. You gotta have dinero. You gotta have money, currency. It's gotta flow in order to flow out so that you can get food on the table, gas in your car, transportation back and forth to work, clothes on your back, feed your children, clothe your children, and provide now health care and child care. Okay? So, it boggles the mind. So anyway, now it's just a bill and it's sitting on Capitol Hill. And that's where my Saturday morning cartoon comes in. And I hope they don't ding this video because I'm going to play it. I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons and I learned the preamble to the Constitution by singing it on one of the commercials on Saturday morning. But here's another one. There was we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and ba-da-da-da. I could probably remember it, but you guys don't want to hear me sing, right? And then there was the other one, conjunction, junction, what's your function? Those were the fun ones. That was educational cartoon commercials back in the day. The last one is right here, and it's called I'm just a bill. And I want to share that with you. And this is all a part of Schoolhouse Rock. So let's look at it and see what we got here. We're going to bring it back to the beginning. And it's about 3 minutes, but yeah, I might chop it down, stop it at some point. But really, it's an educational piece for folks who really don't understand how it all works.
Whew, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will, but today I am still just a bill.
Listen to those congressmen arguing.
Listen to those congressmen arguing. Oh, yeah.
Is all that discussion and debate about you?
Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. Most bills never even get this far. I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee. Oh, but it looks like I'm gonna live. Now I go to the House of Representatives and they vote on me.
If they vote yes, what happens?
Then I go to the Senate and the whole thing starts all over again.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And if they vote for me on Capitol Hill, well, then I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in a line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be a law. How I hope and pray that he will. But today I am still just a bill.
You mean even if the whole Congress says you should be a law, the president can still say no?
Yes, that's called a veto. If the president vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and they vote on me again, and by that time you're so
By
old.
that time, it's very unlikely that you become a law. It's not easy to become a law, is it?
No, but how I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law.
Oh, yes.
There you go, guys. That is how it works. And the beautiful part is that we actually, let me bring this back to, we actually have all of that happening right now. But what's interesting is back in the day, there was much more, I would say, conversation, debate. We were at least able to get to a crossroad where we actually came together and got some things put down in law. And it did take a revolution. It took folks like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, and I keep mentioning these same people, but it's like You know, there was James Baldwin speaking out. We had creators, uh, musicians, writers, artists that were interested in equality and democracy. So, yeah, but right here, The Guardian actually put together like a montage of all of the major cities that had the rallies. Now, the biggest marches, but the biggest rally was in St. Paul, Minnesota, that featured Bruce Springsteen, and I didn't mention him early on. But, you know, from New York to LA, we were working it. So let's just, you know, let's go across the country. Oh, there he is, my boy. Look who's out front, Robert De Niro. And there's Letitia James. Sweet. Peace up, peace up. The only person I don't see out front here is the new mayor from New York. He should be standing right there in between De Niro and James. But I don't know. You know, when they get to a certain point where they kind of settle in, then the speakers come out and they start speaking. So I wasn't able to see all of that. I was out there, and when I came home, I turned the TV on so I could see all the different protests that they had going on. Springsteen did sing his song on the streets of Minneapolis, which was um, fabulous, awesome. I love his music. But anyway, let's get from New York to L.A.
Won't be silent while our friends are gunned down. No kings, no war!
I love the signs. Free spines for Congress. You know what I say? Free cojones for Congress. Come and get them. So in D.C., they're walking across the new reform. Well, it's not new now, but it still looks good. The South Capitol Bridge. I mean, wow. They did a great job on that, by the way.
Under attack! What do we do?
Don't give up. All the workers in Alaska need to hear you now.
We even got Anchorage, Alaska out there. Yeah, remember that red carpet rollout that Trump gave to his buddy Putin? That was in Alaska, I believe. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me.
To us.
It was massive, massive turnout. I am very, very pleased with how things turned out. And we should be proud of what we were able to achieve on Saturday. I think we did a great job. When the protest was over in my area, on the way home, on the lawns of the folks that were out there when I was driving back home, because we stayed out there for quite a minute. But on the drive back in, we took a nice little slow roll back in so that we can honk and wave and say, "See you next protest." This is what you saw. You saw the signs that were out there, and hopefully you can see that Trump is not a king, nor is he a dictator, nor is he a mob boss. You know, he is supposedly the president and leader of a free country, although we don't feel that. That's not actually happening. Anyway, I hope that this broadcast it gave you a reason to get out to the next protest, support your local chapter, be a part of it in indivisible.org. Also, keep in your notebook nokings.org and be a part of the revolution. Because, listen, voting is important. Let's be peaceful because we don't want any martial law. We don't want a reason for insurrection so that we can't get to the voting booth. And if there are any employers out there who care about our democracy as well, even though it's not a national holiday, and it should be, called Voters' Day, where we have a whole day to get ourselves together, go vote. Now, I do know that there are some employees who say, hey, go vote, and then come to work. Or they'll split shifts. Somebody will come in the morning, and then they have the afternoon off to go vote. But I think it should be a national day off for every American citizen because voting is important. It protects our democracy, it protects our constitutional rights, and it also protects us against kings and dictators when we really understand what's happening right now. Everything that 47 ran on was upside down. And it was all in Project 2025. Yeah, I read a little bit of it. Some of the main points, I got it. But I don't know where the minds of some of these people were. Now they're screaming and crying, I don't have any money in my pocket. I can't fertilize my ground to grow anything. It's too expensive. Diesel is over the top. Gas prices are now on a national average $3.99, when just about a month ago I was paying somewhere, the national average was like $2.98, but I was paying somewhere around $2.30, $2.50. I'm on the East Coast, of course, and on the West Coast, oh my goodness, I know they were already paying $4 or $4.50, which was cheap, but I'm sure they're paying anywhere between $6, $7, or even $8 a gallon. So we need to make this right. We need to do something to make this right, and we do it by voting. So let's be conscientious and don't do anything crazy, because we definitely want to be able to get to the voting polls and get there without The Save America Act, which is prohibitive of a lot of ways to get people caught into a quagmire, and they get to the voting booth and realize that, oh, well, this new act says that you have to do A, B, and C before you can vote. Well, you don't have any time. Oh, and here's the irony. In that act, I do believe, they're pushing for no mail-in voting. Well, you know what 47 did. Guess what he did? Come on, you know. Yes, of course. He mailed in his vote. That boy's been mailing in his vote, and they're calling this corrupt or rigged. Come on. What about the military that's now over in Iran, protecting Israel, and the U.S., and how are they going to vote? Right? Our citizens who are traveling internationally on business, how are they supposed to vote? Mail-in voting has been around for years and years and years. And if I had the wherewithal, I would have researched that. But if I'm not wrong, it was somewhere maybe in the early to mid 70s that it became a thing. It could have been later. Anyway, if anybody has any information on that, Google it and send it to me. I hope this gave you some information. Guys, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if I said something wrong or correct me. But at this time, we all need to pay attention. Distraction from the Epstein files. So we're going to definitely keep that out front. We're not going to stop talking about that. It really digs me deep here that they released those files with hundreds of victims once again being victimized by exposing them and hiding the perpetrators, the PDFs, the ones who actually should be right now either sitting in front of Congress, in front of a committee somewhere, being grilled. But I digress. That's in the sandbox right now. And we'll get back to the Epstein files, hopefully, as soon as we can wind down this partial government shutdown, and at least get the war to cool down, or at least 47 and his circus to cool down, and get us back on track. Anyway, I'm Susan. This is Creatives Cafe News. Thanks for joining me, guys, and we'll see you in episode 8.